now move on to the NBA with the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. The Nets won this one 114-105. The Nets somewhat shorthanded last night. No James Harden, no LaMarcus Aldridge. Kevin Durant led the way with 34 points. Was 13 for 24 from the floor. 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Got some help from Blake Griffin and Nick Claxton. Both had 17 points. 76ers led by Joel Embiid, 32 points on the night on 11 for 20. Seth Curry also had 29, but it was not a good evening for Tobias Harris. He scored 11 points and was just 3 for 17 from the floor. The final, the Nets 114 to 76ers 105. Nets led it by 18 at the half, and they would hold on from there. They lead the Eastern Conference at 21-8. The 76ers drop back to 500 at 15-15. Drink, what'd you make of this one?
The Sixers are in trouble because I got people saying, well, the Sixers was missing guys. Listen, you had Joel Embiid, you had Tobias Harris, you had Steph Curry. You said they're missing what? Tyrese Maxey, he was in the protocol, and then I'm sorry, that excuse ain't good enough. That's just not good enough. Where you know who Kevin Durant best guy was? Who his Robin per se was last night? Blake Griffin. Folks, let me tell you what Blake Griffin did last night. Just in case you didn't watch the game. Let me hit you out with this hotness right here. Blake Griffin played 32 minutes and scored 17 points. With a whopping, he got 9 rebounds and a whopping 2 assists, and he was a -8. That was his Robin. Oh, who else you said? Nick Claxton, huh? Nick Claxton. What did Nick Claxton do? 17 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals and 2 blocks, and he was a -1. So I tell you what, for Kevin Durant to be such a skinny fella, his shoulders got to be very, very strong. Like, he must do shoulders every other day when he work out, because he definitely ain't doing legs, because we done seen them joints. So I gotta ask, like, and with what I seen last night, and then with the news that we're gonna talk about later in the show, it's starting to make a little sense to me. You got James Harden, he's in the protocol. We don't know when he will come out of the protocol. Clearly, he hasn't passed the 2 negative tests. But it's just this Nets team is really KD dependent right now, and they still won to his credit. But he out here, he damn near got to play 45 minutes a game now, like, in order for them to have a chance. And this is why I say the 76ers are in trouble, because you should have beat this Nets team. Come on, man. No, you sit. KD had 34. The next best man had 17, which was Griffin and Claxton. And I go and look at the 76ers. Joel Embiid, 32 points. Steph Curry, 29 points. Tobias Harris, 11. And Shake Milton with the old 13. My point is Embiid had a lot more help on his side of the ball than KD did. And somehow the 76ers still lost. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the 76ers just got this complex with Doc Rivers where they just, when they're on the road, they just don't play with the same intensity that they do. I don't know what that's about, but it seems like when they're on the road, they kind of just, you punch them in the mouth, they're just going to lay down. When they're at home, you got Embiid talking about, this is my house. You ain't coming in here with none of that. When they played Golden State, I think it was, this is my house. I defend my house. You in Philly right now, baby. You know what I'm saying? These my lands. I ain't talking all that. Embiid, why we don't get none of that on the road? I'm curious. Like, granted, technically it's not your house when you're on the road, but own the place. If you really feel that way. If you're an alpha male in today's NBA, you can own other people's arena. Go own that too. Because this whole I only play at home bull crap y'all got going on, that's just not it. And so I look at that last night as an indictment, a really big indictment on the 76ers. I don't think they wanted it bad enough. I know a lot of people talking about Doc Rivers right now. Like, what are we doing here? But for me, you know, it could be Doc Rivers, but to me, it's more of the team, man. It's just, listen, you know what? We had this conversation, right? And I'm kind of glad this is starting to play out now. Me and you used to have these conversations about who would have to leave, Embiid or Ben Simmons. And it was hard to tell which one was more valuable when they both played. Now that Ben Simmons haven't been around and Embiid's been running the show by himself, it's no excuse about chemistry because Ben Simmons is not playing. So this was a clear-cut season for Embiid to be the clear-cut leader. And I'm not saying he's not playing well, but what I am saying is I don't think we're seeing that step up in leadership like I thought we would with Ben Simmons not being around. And the fact that he plays up and down to where the location of the game is kind of troubling for the 76ers, I think. You need your best player to be there every night. You know, and I look at last night, and he played well last night, but he has to find a way to get his teammates more involved, I guess. I mean, look, Steph Curry showed up, so I can't say nobody showed up, but he's going to have to find a way. Because the one thing Ben Simmons did do was spread the ball, push the tempo, get guys that usually is not involved in the game, get them involved in the game by moving the ball faster across the court. That's when you get Court Mox shooting threes. That's when you get, you know, Maxey out here shooting threes, et cetera, et cetera. You don't quite have that burst because Simmons ain't there. Embiid, this is your team. You need to act like it. But as far as right now, I don't know how long the Nets can sustain this success with just KD just kind of just out there doing his own thing. And come on, guys, come and play. I don't know how long you can sustain success with that. But like I say, good win for the Nets last night. But this is a troubling sign for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that this is troubling for Philadelphia. Philadelphia was the number one seed in this conference last year. They looked to be a surefire Eastern Conference Finals team, and then they lost to Atlanta in the semifinals. And ever since then, with the whole Ben Simmons thing, this thing is it ain't honeymoon phase is over for Doc Rivers. We know that. I gotta tell you, man, I'm not gonna be too critical of Joel Embiid. I think he could do more. I think he's capable of playing better. My problem with Philadelphia right now is, and this goes back to think about it like this. What if Milwaukee you had, because I always think Milwaukee, it comes down, I know what Giannis is gonna do. It comes down to what Middleton or Holiday is gonna do. If they play well and they do what they're supposed to do, Milwaukee's gonna be fine.
Right.
Now you look at Philadelphia. Embiid handle his business or he don't handle his business. He's typically the guy they can rely on. You know what you're gonna get with him. Now the problem now that you don't have Ben Simmons is like, okay, who's next? Who's gonna step up? Well, what do you know? Mr. Max No Sleep himself, Tobias Harris, with a hot 3 for 17. Is that right? Come on, man. This is the problem. Philadelphia, and I'm really complimentary of their backcourt. It's deep. Now they were missing Maxey last night. They didn't have Court Mars. I get all that, but you can't. These are not the most critical pieces that are making the max contracts. Tobias Harris. If you're making max money, could you give us less of a minimum performance? I'd like to say. I think the thing about Philadelphia is Philadelphia just ain't that good. I think we just got to call it like it is. Like, they got Joel Embiid, they got another all-star defensive player of the year type guy who he's got a real flaw in his game. But the problem is they still got him, and he ain't helping them or he ain't helping anybody. They got to get this dude out of here and make a trade, because I'm saying, like, Ben
Would
Simmons.
you trade? Would you trade for him?
Well, it depends. I think it depends on the situation. But I mean, Ben Simmons not playing at all just doesn't make sense to me. He could help somebody, and Ben Simmons not playing for Philadelphia. They, they could trade him for somebody, anybody, because they're not getting anything from him. So anybody they trade for could be something. Now, like, we can get in scenarios down the line of who would make sense, who would not make sense. But Tobias Harris as a number two ain't gonna get it done for you. I mean, that's just that's I think we know that. And who else you gonna rely on? Danny Green? Ah!
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Hey,
yeah.
I mean, hey, shout out to Seth Curry though. Seth Curry doing what he can do. He trying to make it difficult for us, saying like, oh, all y'all do is talk about Steph. I'm gonna show you I can shoot the ball too. You heard?
Right,
So
right.
he out here doing what he need to do. But look, to me, Joel Embiid has to be. He's got to look. He averaging 24 and 11 right now, and he need about 30 and 14 for this team to get it together. Because without Ben Simmons being their second second best player, the second All Star on that team, I mean, Tobias Harris is the next best thing they have on their team, and I'm not feeling Tobias Harris as a number two. I don't know if I like him as a number three. I'd probably like him as a number four back when they had Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Jimmy Butler. That's when I was feeling Tobias Harris. Let's get the roles correct.
Right.
And then since they let Jimmy Butler go, and now they ain't got Ben Simmons. It's still what a train wreck. Daryl Morey need to get his act together. That's what I think. All right, enough about Philadelphia. Look, Brooklyn. Look, KD playing great. I just looked at the game log. I can see where they worried about their minutes. I think he's out tonight with a little ankle soreness. He probably could use the rest. The good news for Brooklyn, even though they dealing with it right now. No James Harden, no LaMarcus Aldridge. My two favorite Junkyard Dogs, Junkyard Dog 1, Bruce Brown, and Bembry, Junkyard Dog 2, just the yeoman's work guy. They don't do nothing but just grab loose balls and do the dirty work, as they say. No Joe Harris either. So they is missing everybody. They got this dude, who is this? David Duke Jr. I need to look up his bio, make sure I'm not getting him confused with other folks. But this is pretty remarkable that they as hot as they are with missing so many people. Look, right now they can afford to. Hey, KD, have a seat for a minute, man. Rest up a little bit. This is gonna be one of them rare occurrences. Well, I am okay with like looking at the the inactives or the injury report, whatever, and you can just write rest next to Kevin Durant's name. I normally don't like to see that, but I think KD let him rest a little bit. And Brooklyn is 21-8 right now. They lead the Eastern Conference. They got plenty of room for error. We know when Harden comes at the protocols, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be a team to be reckoned with all year. They going through it a little bit right now, and I would not. If I'm Steve Nash, don't sweat this whole all these regular season games too much. The net, no one's gonna care about what the Nets do in the regular season if they don't win the title. They got to win I think they got to win a title, and so Steve Nash got to focus on what's ahead of them. If you drop a few games here and there because you're just missing everybody, don't be out here playing KD 40 plus just to win a game against Detroit or Orlando. It ain't worth it. You need KD down the line when you play the Milwaukees, when you play who else out there? When you play the Miamis. I don't know about the Clevelands, Chicago's. We'll see about them. But Milwaukee's gonna be there for sure, and these teams got to be right. For that time.